Hey Gooners, welcome back to Gunners Talk Daily, your home for everything Arsenal. Major decisions, last-minute U-turns, and jaw-dropping twists. The Gunners' summer transfer window is heating up fast. From Victor GYOKERES pulling out of Sweden duty, to Arsenal swooping in on Leroy SANE, and even Benjamin Sesko's move being described as imminent, things are moving rapidly. But there's bad news too. Zubimendi's deal is wobbling. Bryan Mbeumo's off to Man United, and 17 players have been released as part of a huge summer clear-out. Arsenal's transfer machine is rumbling, and we're breaking it all down for you right now. Let's start with a major update on Victor GYOKERES. The Sweden international has withdrawn from his national team's upcoming matches against Hungary and Algeria due to a minor injury. The decision, confirmed by Sweden's press officer Petra Thoren, was made in consultation with medical staff to avoid aggravating the issue, a smart move, especially with transfer speculation swirling. Arsenal are known admirers of GYOKERES, and he's not taking any chances that might jeopardize a big-money switch to North London. Even more intriguing, during a podcast appearance, his former Coventry teammate Leo Ostigard video-called GYOKERES and cheekily asked if he was signing for Arsenal. His answer? We will see. Nobody knows anything yet. But the smirk and tone said enough to keep Gooners buzzing. But that's not all on the striker front. Arsenal are preparing to launch an official bid for Benjamin Sesko of RB Leipzig. His release clause sits at £67 million, but Arsenal are hoping to negotiate a slightly reduced deal. Transfer insider Ben Jacobs confirmed the interest, stating that the Gunners are now stepping up their pursuit of the Slovenian forward. And while we're on attacking options, the Gunners have also opened talks with Bayern Munich's Leroy SANE. According to Christian Falk, Arsenal have spoken to SANE's agent Pini Zahavi. SANE, who could be available on a free transfer, is tempted by a move to London where his family already lives. The catch? He's demanding a base salary of £192,000 a week, plus bonuses and a hefty signing-on fee. Oh, and to make things spicier, Spurs are also circling. Meanwhile, reports have emerged that Arsenal are keeping close tabs on Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo. At 25, the Ghanaian international has impressed in the Premier League and is seen as a solid backup option should primary targets like SESKO and GYOKERES fall through. But not all the news is positive. Martin Zubimendi, once thought to be a done deal, has publicly denied that he's taken a medical with Arsenal. While on Spain duty, he admitted the summer is wide open and he hasn't decided anything yet. The twist? New Real Madrid boss Xabi Alonso, Zubimendi's idol, coached him at Real Sociedad and could lure him to the Bernabeu instead. That's a big blow to Mikel Arteta's midfield plans. Another blow? Bryan Mbeumo, heavily linked with Arsenal, has reportedly chosen Manchester United instead. According to The Athletic, United are preparing talks with Brentford to secure the Cameroon winger, leaving the Gunners and Spurs and Newcastle disappointed. Let's talk about the squad shakeup. Arsenal have released their end-of-season retained list, and 17 players are heading out. Big names like Jorginho and Kieran Tierney are among those departing. Jorginho is set for a free move to Flamengo, while Tierney is expected to rejoin Celtic. Thomas Partey, meanwhile, is in talks over a new deal, despite heavy interest from Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, and even Saudi clubs. And yes, it's official, Raheem Sterling will return to Chelsea after a poor loan spell at Arsenal, where he started just 13 games and scored only once. His future remains unclear, but he won't feature in Chelsea's Club World Cup plans. Among the youth players let go are Nathan Butler-Oyedeji, Keon Edwards, Salah Eddin Oulad Mahand, and Brian Okonkwo, among others, part of a broader strategy to streamline the academy and focus on players like Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's expected to sign a new long-term deal soon. Finally, Arsenal's pre-season tour is already set. They'll face AC Milan on July 23rd and Newcastle on July 27th, both in Singapore, before taking on Spurs in a blockbuster clash on July 31st in Hong Kong. So Gooners, what do you make of the SESKO bid, the GYOKERES hints, and the SANE salary demands? Is this finally the window Arsenal land their elusive striker? And has Zubimendi already slipped through our fingers? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Gunners Talk Daily for all the latest from the Emirates in other news. Looks like Arsenal have also pulled out of the race for Joan Garcia, the Espanyol goalkeeper. Reports in Spain say the Gunners were unwilling to pay the €25 million release clause, especially now that David Raya is set to remain the undisputed number one. That's cleared the path for Barcelona, who are now advancing talks with the 23-year-old. Despite a few setbacks, Arsenal are not slowing down. This early transfer window, open until June 10th, gives clubs a short burst to strike early deals. The window will then reopen on June 16th, but for Arsenal, there's pressure to move fast and avoid getting stuck in bidding wars. So far, all the smoke leads to two names, GYOKERES and SESKO. Let's get into it. According to recent reports, Andrea Berta, Arsenal's new sporting director, held a secret meeting with RB Leipzig to discuss a potential deal for Benjamin Sesko. The Slovenian striker has a £69 million release clause, and with Leipzig missing out on the Champions League, they might be forced to sell. Sesko's combination of pace, finishing, and power has made him a long-term Arteta target, and Arsenal are ready to invest heavily up front. Should GYOKERES and SESKO prove difficult to land, Arsenal have identified João Pedro of Brighton as an alternative. He's versatile, capable of playing up top or as a second striker. Not the same profile as SESKO or GYOKERES, but certainly someone Arteta believes could fit into his fluid system. In midfield, it looks like the Gunners have already secured one major target. Reports say Martin Zubimendi has completed his medical in England. The official announcement is expected soon, though the player is currently with Spain ahead of their Nations League semi-final versus France. Fabrizio Romano has already given this the "here we go," and now it's just about timing the press release. Elsewhere, Thomas Partey could be heading for the exit. Barcelona are in talks over a potential free transfer, with the Ghanaian's contract winding down and Arsenal looking to refresh the midfield. Partey has been a key figure when fit, but with injuries piling up and younger options stepping forward, this summer may be the right time to part ways. Speaking of young talent, Miles Lewis-Skelly is close to agreeing a new long-term deal with Arsenal. The 18-year-old fullback turned heads last season, and despite interest from Real Madrid, he's set to stay in North London. He's told the club he wants to win back-to-back trophies, and talks that began in January are nearly wrapped. Sporting director Andrea Berta is taking a hands-on approach with Hale End stars, also working on new terms for Nwaneri, Saka, Saliba, and Gabriel. Arsenal are also pushing to sign Igor Tyjan, a 17-year-old striker from Blackburn Rovers. The Gunners are ready to pay £1 million up front, with add-ons tied to future first-team appearances. Tyjan has already made senior championship appearances and is seen as one for the future. The summer transfer window is officially open for business. Well, at least for just over a week. Thanks to FIFA's revamped Club World Cup format, clubs have been granted a short early transfer window to kickstart their summer dealings. This temporary window will slam shut again at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, June 10th, before reopening for the full summer cycle on Monday, June 16th. For Arsenal, that means one thing: get busy, and get busy fast. After another frustrating season without silverware and a lack of killer instinct in front of goal, Mikel Arteta and Andre Berta are under pressure to make major moves early. And based on the noise around the Emirates, the Gunners are already putting in the groundwork. Let's dive into the biggest update first. According to fresh reports from Germany, Arsenal have made Benjamin Sesko their number one priority up front. Sky Germany claims a secret meeting has already taken place involving key RB Leipzig decision-makers, Andrea Berta and Marcel Schaefer, who sat down with Arsenal's recruitment team to discuss the Slovenian striker. The 22-year-old has everything Arteta is looking for: pace, power, link-up play, and a clinical edge that Arsenal desperately lacked during key moments last season. With a fee in the region of £70 million being floated, Leipzig want to cash in quickly, and Arsenal are quietly confident. Reports suggest the Gunners already have a verbal agreement in place with Sesko, but Manchester United are now circling. United's director of recruitment, Christopher Vivell, who originally scouted Sesko as a teenager, is trying to lure him to Old Trafford. It's shaping up to be a two-club battle, and timing will be everything. Just in case the Sesko deal stalls, Arsenal are also keeping close tabs on Sporting CP striker Victor Gyökeres. Word from Portugal suggests Gyökeres has already agreed personal terms with Arsenal, with a view to completing a transfer if Sesko ends up elsewhere. The price? anything between 60 million and 90 million pounds, depending on how hard Sporting dig their heels in. But there's a twist. Napoli, under new manager Antonio Conte, are pushing hard to sign GYOKERES too, especially after reportedly agreeing a free transfer for Kevin De Bruyne. Could we see De Bruyne and GYOKERES link up in Naples? Arsenal fans will be hoping not. Next up, a major story on the outgoings front. Thomas Partey could be leaving the Emirates this summer, with Barcelona in talks over a potential free transfer. The Ghanaian midfielder is reportedly keen to stay in London, especially after recently welcoming a baby and feeling settled with his family. But at 32, Partey wants a final long-term contract that reflects his importance, and Arsenal are yet to offer him that kind of deal. Barcelona have made the first concrete move, while Saudi clubs are also circling. Sunsport quotes a source close to the player saying, "Thomas respects Arsenal massively and loves living in London, but he also knows his worth." This one could go either way, and Arsenal will need to weigh experience against value. In terms of fresh young blood, Kenan Yildiz of Juventus is emerging as a serious target. The 19-year-old Turkish international is versatile, exciting, and capable of playing on the wing or as a central forward. Arsenal are big fans of his development, and a summer move is being considered, though Juventus are reluctant sellers. Meanwhile, Brighton striker João Pedro is attracting interest from several Premier League sides, Arsenal included. Pedro had a decent season, scoring 10 goals in 27 league games, but it's his overall potential that's catching the eye. Brighton have reportedly slapped a £70 million price tag on the Brazilian, after a reported training ground bust-up with a teammate saw him dropped for the final 2 matches of the season. Newcastle, Liverpool, and Aston Villa are also monitoring the situation in other news. Could Arsenal have made a blunder already? Ex-pro Adebayo Akinfenwa believes so. He slammed the Gunners for missing out on Liam Delap, who is now reportedly heading to Chelsea in a £30 million deal. "I don't understand how Arsenal didn't snap him up," Akinfenwa told TalkSport. £30 million is chump change today. This lad is being tipped as Harry Kane's successor. Delap impressed during his loan at Ipswich and had been on several clubs' radars. Arsenal will be hoping they haven't just missed out on the next big thing. Let's not sugarcoat this. Arsenal's summer business could define the next 3 years of this project. With the window officially open, for now, Arteta must move fast. Strikers are a priority. Midfield reinforcements are needed, and securing young talent like Lewis Skelly must be done quickly. What do you think, Gooners? Should Arsenal splash £70 million plus on SESKO, or go for GYOKERES? Will losing Partey hurt the squad's balance? And has Liam Delap's move to Chelsea exposed a blind spot in our transfer planning? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe. Moving on. Barcelona are reportedly planning a surprise move for Gabriel Martinelli. New manager Hansi Flick is said to be keen on strengthening the wide areas and views Martinelli as a perfect profile to fit Barca's rejuvenated system. Now, Gooners, this would be a major blow if it were to happen. Martinelli, while inconsistent at times last season, still remains one of Arsenal's most dangerous and dynamic players. Arsenal have no intention of selling him, but we know how these Spanish giants operate. Slow pressure, big promises, and tempting players with history and legacy. Would you sell Martinelli if a big bid came in, or should we lock him down and build around him even more? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, to add to the complications, Rafael Leão and Leroy SANE are slipping away. Reports suggest that new AC Milan boss Massimiliano Allegri sees Leão as untouchable, while Sane's camp is making progress in contract extension talks with Bayern Munich. Remember, both players were high on Arsenal's shortlist to reinforce the wing positions. But with both now increasingly unavailable, Arsenal are shifting focus to Nico Williams of Athletic Club, and Takefusa Kubo of Real Sociedad. Kubo in particular is interesting. Still just 23, the Japanese international had a breakout season in La Liga and fits the Arteta mold. Technically gifted, intelligent off the ball, and full of energy. But competition is heating up. Meanwhile, on the striker front, Benjamin Šeško continues to be the Gunners' top target. and talks with RB Leipzig are progressing. Arsenal officials recently met with Leipzig executives in London to discuss the deal. However, the €80 million release clause is still a sticking point. Arsenal are trying to negotiate structured payments or bonuses to make it work. SESKO, only 21, fits the bill for what Arteta and Edu are chasing: a mobile, tall, and clinical striker who can grow into the Premier League. And with his rise in Germany and performances for Slovenia, many believe he could be the next Erling Haaland-type breakout. Can we land him before someone like Chelsea or PSG swoop in? It's a tense one. Speaking of Chelsea, they've entered the race for Victor GYOKERES, and things are getting messy. Arsenal had reportedly submitted a £62 million bid to Sporting Lisbon for the Swedish hitman, but now, Chelsea have made a formal inquiry, and Sporting are holding out for closer to £67 million. His release clause stands at £84 million, but Sporting are willing to accept less. Chelsea's sudden interest might be tactical, testing Arsenal's resolve, or simply trying to weaken a rival. Either way, this transfer tug-of-war is far from over.